Everyone, and welcome to the City Council meeting today on March 2nd. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and start with the invocation by Pastor Harada from Covenant Church. And if you can all please stand if you're willing and able, that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance from Mayor Pro Tem Badillon.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Let us pray. God of love, we trust in you with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. We acknowledge you in all our ways and in all our meetings so that you will direct our paths. Father, we do not rely on ourselves for effective results, for we are only human and often make mistakes. It is you who knows all things, so Father, have your divine way in this meeting always. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Brent. Okay, first item on the agenda is the roll call. And Adriana, if you can please accept for the record that the council is all here.
So noted.
Thank you very much. Next are the minutes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to accept the minutes for the City Council study session meeting of February 17th, 2026. Consider the minutes for the regular meeting of February 17th, 2026. The minutes of the Board of Adjustment meeting of November 12th, 2025. And the minutes for the Historic Preservation Commission meeting of January 26th, 2026, as presented.
Second. There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next are the claims.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I've moved that we accept the claims for February the 11th, 2026 through February the 24th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the claims? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The meeting agenda, are there any changes to the meeting agenda?
We have no changes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, we can get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. So next item are the special presentation for the swearing in of our new officers. Thank you for being here. So I believe Adriana will be doing that, right, Adriana? Okay. All right. Congratulations. Nice to meet you guys. Congratulations. Thank you. Be safe.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you. Okay, the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests. in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Is there anything that anyone would like to pull from the consent agenda? Anyone from the council? Any staff or member of the public? Okay, so if we can get a motion.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hey, Adriana, if we can get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, public comments. So the city council values citizen input. When called, please state your name and address, speak clearly in the microphone, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. In fairness to all speakers, try not to exceed your time. In accordance with law, the city council cannot respond or discuss items not listed on the agenda, but may direct them to staff upon conclusion of all public comments. So I know I have 3 speaker cards, but of course, if there's anyone that would like to speak, you can also come up. First, I have Neil Jones. Hi there, Neil.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I'm Neil Jones, 2623 East San Paulo, Casa Grande, Arizona. The reason that I'm here is concerning e-bikes, Class 1, Class 2 e-bikes on designated sidewalks. This is a bit of a problem, and you may be asking, well, why am I speaking here now? Because I was almost run over by a Class 1 or Class 2 e-bike when I was on a sidewalk in Mission Royale. And I decided that I would call dispatch, and dispatch sent me to a peace officer, and I spoke with the peace officer for some time. He now understands who I am and my position in my hometown. I'm a part-time resident here. And once we started talking about that, he said that I should address the city council, because you cannot enforce a law that doesn't exist. So one of the things that I talked about with the officer is right here. This is in the paper here, December 11th, 2025, Mesa proposes new e-bike rules in parks. This is something that is a blueprint. It's actually pretty good. And I'm familiar with e-bikes in my position in Washoe County, Nevada. And it's a problem that is not going to go away. The e-bike situation is basically 100% per year, year over year over year. It's explosive as far as how many e-bikes, Class 1, Class 2, not 3, Class 1 and Class 2. The issue is when these folks are on sidewalks, I'm not talking about multipaths or bike lanes, I'm talking about sidewalks, that those of us that are seasoned citizens, we can't move as quickly, especially when we have our dogs and we simply want to walk and enjoy this beautiful city. And then we get, well, not run over, but we have to get out of the way of the e-bikes. Something needs to happen, and that needs to happen fairly soon, because this isn't going away. It's going to get worse as time goes on. And my time is running out. Thank you for taking the time to pay attention to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. And we have your contact information. Larry, can we have someone follow up with him? Right, okay. Thank you, Neil. Okay, the next is Donna Statham. Hi, Donna.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Mayor Fitzgibbons and the City Council. Oh, my name, sorry. Donna Statham, 632 West Cobblestone Drive.
Okay.
Thank you, City Council members, as well, for allowing me to come speak. Again, my name is Donna Statham, and I'm honored to represent the Pinal County Veterans Memorial Foundation, a dedicated group of individuals committed to one powerful mission, honoring the service and sacrifice of every fallen hero who has called Pinal County home. Thank you for giving us the time to share our story, our purpose, and how we may be part of preserving our county's military legacy. The Pinal County Veterans Memorial Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization formed by veterans and proud citizens of Pinal County. Retired Pinal County Sheriff Frank Reyes and attorney Thomas McCarville, both deceased, began the foundation on a vision and a dream in 2010. The mission is to create and maintain a permanent memorial to honor all Pinal County veterans who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country, provide a sacred space of remembrance, reflection, and education, build a community asset that fosters patriotism, unity, and respect. Why does Pinal County need a veterans memorial? Over 35,000 veterans call this county home. That's 7.4% of our population. Many served in wars from World War I to the present day. We owe them more than gratitude. We owe them a lasting place and honor. Currently, there is no comprehensive central memorial in Pinal County that reflects the scope of their sacrifice. Our vision is to create a beautiful, enduring memorial site that Pinal County features individual names of each fallen hero that did not make it home from war and stories of their individual service. The memorial will be a peaceful park-like setting for ceremonies and personal reflection, educational elements to engage future generations. This will be a place where veterans are seen, heard, and remembered. Here's what we've accomplished so far. So we secured the land here in Casa Grande at Rodeo Road and Pinal Avenue, convenient to I-10. Developed detailed design plans for the memorial layout. The memorial site is 90% completed. To include all underground services, retaining walls to assist with noise control, the memorial circle, which I'm sure you've seen. 30-foot flag poles to fly the United States flag, state flag, POW, and all 6 branches. Bronze breast of the colonel as the centerpiece in the memorial circle. Sidewalks are completed. Lighting and large concrete pad for presentations. We have built partnerships with local leaders, veterans organizations, citizens, and corporate donors. 100% of the funds raised in the last 15 years have all come through donations, fundraising efforts, and our program, partnership program. We are not just dreaming, we are building. To bring this memorial to completion, we need the community support through financial contributions, and I've provided a paper for you. Awareness and advocacy, our mission, talk to our friends, colleagues, and networks. This memorial is not just for veterans, it's for every American who believes in honoring service and sacrifice. Let's build something meaningful together. In closing, I leave you with this. Calvin Coolidge once said, "A nation that forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten." Thank you.
Great, thank you, Donna. Okay, and Barbara Sundust.
Barbara Sundust, 1273 East Cordova Avenue, Casa Grande. Over the past weeks, I have come expressing my concern for the unhoused. I had shared stories of need, elderly people living in their cars, elderly people on a fixed income with little opportunity to find a job, are unable to afford housing. I have talked about the homeless who were forced out of all public and city places, so now find themselves either out in the desert where it is difficult to get services or walking and hiding from the police. There was no alternate plan to help these people once the ordinance was passed. I felt like the general idea was to just move them out. So we have a need for a temporary shelter, a need for some kind of campground area, and true low-income housing for the elderly. I know this is a money and land problem. There's a huge piece of land right across from St. Vincent de Paul, and I know that they had some plans to use it, but they couldn't come up with the money. So the city sold the land to a contractor, And for whatever reason, nothing's been done with that land over the past probably 2 years. So, as I said, these are things I talk about regularly because we are talking about people who should be treated with dignity and respect. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, after my short presentation, I listened to the City Council award $1.4 million of public funds to build 12 pickleball courts. And I understand this evening there's another contract voting on to reward for Dave White, fixing up Dave White Clubhouse. So, oh my God, time. Many other cities that are around our size have some sort of shelter for the unhoused. As we get close to the summer months and extreme heat, where will they go? And can you imagine living in your car when it's 110 outside? I mean, really, cars are like ovens or refrigerators in winter. So just for me, $1.4 million for pickleball, and this is public funds, I understand, and nothing for shelter or anything for the homeless and elderly.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comments. And next item on the agenda, I-1. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Staff recommends the mayor and city council award a contract with Capital R Incorporated to renovate the kitchen and patio area at the Dave White Golf Course for an amount not to exceed $280,000. Staff advertised a request for qualifications, solicitation number 103926CG on July 1, 2025 for design build services. Utilizing the design build delivery method allowed staff to evaluate both design expertise and construction capabilities simultaneously, ensuring the proposed solutions align with the project scope, schedule, and the construction budget allocated for this project. A mandatory site visit was held on Thursday, July 17, 2025, with 12 attendees representing 8 companies. The city received 4 qualifying submittals for review. A selection committee consisting of Danielle Gallegos, Community Services Director, Mike Edwards, Park Superintendent, Jason DiCarlo, owner of Ellison Mills Contracting, and Scott Nice, Architect Lead with Wilson and Company Incorporated, independently reviewed and evaluated the submittals. The committee then conducted interviews with the 3 highest ranked firms. Following the interviews, the committee selected Capital R Incorporated as the best and most qualified team for this project. The project's purpose is to enhance the kitchen's functionality and close the existing outdoor patio to allow for year-round use. Objectives include creating space for an additional walk-in freezer, ice machine, and storage area, as well as rejuvenating the outdoor patio to provide a flexible climate-controlled space for patrons. Each year, sales from retail, food, beverage, and other clubhouse operations generate about $400,000, representing 21% of the total revenue generated from the golf course. By increasing indoor seating capacity, golf staff estimates an additional $30,000 to $50,000 in annual food and beverage revenue and retail sales. Staff worked with Capital R Incorporated on a design that enclosed the patio area and reconfigured the kitchen to accommodate additional walk-in cooler and ice machine, counter space, and storage. The final negotiated construction scope of work guaranteed maximum price of $279,946.24, which includes a $5,000 contractor contingency. The project will expand the clubhouse to the east, which is currently used as a covered exterior walkway. This is going to add approximately about 585 square feet of interior space that we'll use for retail space. We'll ultimately use that space to build the manager's office and then also have additional space for a computer equipment room. We're going to take the existing manager's office and make that into our kitchen storage space, as that's directly connected to the kitchen right now, so that'll be the easiest way to be able to add some storage space to our kitchen area. The project will also then renovate the kitchen layout to provide the opportunity to add the additional walk-in cooler plus the ice machine, and then also renovate and enclose 683 square foot of the existing patio area adding that interior space for an enclosed room for approximately up to about 45 patrons. The clubhouse renovation project is scheduled to start this spring and be completed with 128 days after the notice to proceed. Funding for this project was included in the approved four-year 26 capital improvement budget for $300,000. General ledger account 510-41-899-8113 would be project number 25119. And I would open it up for any questions, Madam Mayor and Council.
Any questions, comments?
I just got
Sure.
one quick question. You mentioned that this expenditure should increase revenue at the clubhouse by, I can't remember what percent you said, but is there a way that we could track that in the future and actually see that we can see our return on investment on this project?
Yeah, we actually do. We're hoping, we've just started partnering with the chamber. They've been using a software program called Pacer AI, which can track how long people are at a specific space. So we've just been working with them, actually just started with about the last month, to define the geospacing areas of our different facilities, one being the clubhouse, that can then, over time, we can get reports on how long people are spending time in there, how long they're in there, and then ultimately help track to, obviously, the longer the stay, the more spending that they do through food and beverage and those types of things. So that's kind of our method that we hope to be able to track that.
That would be great. And that way we can actually see that, hey, yeah, we put this investment to place, but we're going to see a return on that through the city, through the golf course and clubhouse and everything. So
Yeah, thank you for the question, Commissioner
Thank
Dugan.
you.
Any other questions, comments?
Just,
Oh, sure.
I think that's going to add so much to the space. If you go out there and golf, if there's a tournament, if there's something going on, that inside area gets so crowded. So just having something additional to that, I think, is going to make a big difference for people that go there regularly. So I think it's great.
Good. Okay. No more questions, comments? We can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5890, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Capital R Construction, Inc. for the renovation at the Dave White Golf Course Clubhouse, authorizing the expenditure of public funds and authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Capital R Construction, Inc.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5890 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, item I2, Kevin.
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council award a contract to Ellison Mills Contracting LLC for the guaranteed maximum price proposal in an amount not to exceed $12,375,553 for the construction manager risk and construction services for McCartney Roadway Improvement Project, Segment 1, and this is from Pinal Avenue to just east of Treckle Road. We did go through a request for qualifications process and followed all the Title 34 requirements as they are outlined for doing a selection. We did have 6 different teams submit their qualifications, and Allison Mills was selected as the most qualified construction manager at risk to provide both pre-construction and subsequent construction services for this project. The contract for pre-construction services for this portion was completed in November of '25. It also included the pre-construction services for the Treckle Road project from McCartney down to Rodeo. That project is complete. Ellison Mills was the contractor for that as well and did a great job. So looking forward to the next phase kicking off. This will be from Pinal Avenue to Treckle Road, just east of Treckle Road. You'll see a lot of activity starting out there very soon if approved, but it'll include the widening to 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction, appropriate turn lanes, medians for access control, new asphalt pavement to replace the existing asphalt pavement, curb gutter sidewalk, all the typical improvements that you'll see on one of our arterial roadways. Obviously, if successful, we'll be following this up with additional council action for segments 2 and 3, and that'll get us complete all the way out to I-10. But with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kevin. Questions? Sure, Anthony?
Yeah, Kevin, when was the starting date?
Hopefully, as soon as this
Y'all know I was gonna-
contract is approved, we'll have because this was done as part of the overall resolution, or excuse me, the ordinance that approved the CIP projects, I believe we can get started in like 2 weeks. If
Yeah,
approved.
there's a schedule in here. March 15th is mobilized. Because this is going to be my question. They got substantial completion Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
So
March 14th.
I'm going to hit print.
Yeah,
as soon as I
around,
get-
around, well, that's,
Put it in
there's
your
3
office.
stages there.
Right there.
Pinell to Treckle. This is what we're
This
talking
this
about.
is
This is just
this-
Pinell to
This is
Treckle.
Pinell to Treckle. Yeah.
Okay, other questions, comments?
No?
Got a comment. I know there's a lot of construction going on, we all know, but once it gets over, it's gonna be a lot better.
Yes.
So we're trying to plan it and do it now. Thanks, Kevin. So this one's much needed.
No, you're right, and there's so many people that have waited. I know it's such a busy area. And there's, what I try to tell people is there's never really a perfect time of year. I mean, we can't just do it in the summer months because it takes longer than, 4 or 5 months to complete these projects too. So we just have to be patient and look at the end result, which is Treckle right now. It's beautiful, beautiful road. So look forward to it. So thanks. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
I just have one more. And I don't expect you to have this tonight, Kevin, but I would like to kind of see a waterfall chart or something that shows the progression of the price from the 30% design to get to the GMP and what that price was doing on the different design levels. And then if there were any value engineering ideas that they came up with, what that value was as far as value engineering and what was accepted by the designers.
Okay. We can definitely look into that and get that back to
Yeah, if you can get
council.
that, it's something that helps me
Yeah, good.
understand the overall price.
Anything else?
No.
All right. So if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5892, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the proposal from Allison Mills Contracting, LLC, to provide construction manager at risk services for the construction of the McCartney Road Improvement Project from Pinal Avenue to Treckle Road, authorizing expenditure of public funds and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve resolution number 5892 as presented.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Ramo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item K1.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I'm pleased to welcome Danny Court with Elliott D. Pollock and Company. Danny is a partner and senior economist with the firm and was part of the team that prepared the city's housing study that was presented to you by Rick Merritt. Since that time, and with the benefit of some leftover grant funding from the housing study, we've asked Danny to return and provide a broader overview market, a broader view of the housing market in Casa Grande, and then a deeper dive into the multifamily housing here in Casa Grande.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, we are going to briefly go through this presentation, and then I open it up for questions if you have any. We're going to talk about national trends in the housing market, home ownership trends, renter trends, and then get into the Casa Grande market. And then we've got several slides that we call myths and facts. They may be several points that are brought up in regular city council meetings when a project is proposed, when we see anecdotes and we try to kind of come back with hard data to see if those are true or if they have any merit to them. So we'll go through those and hopefully you find those interesting. The last 5-6 years in the housing market, and this is a national issue, housing has really been turned on its head. The home ownership market has been a lot tougher to break into for first-time home buyers. A double whammy of a housing supply crunch, which created increased housing prices, and then the increase in mortgage interest rates has really become a barrier to home ownership. Interest rates is one of the big factors that we really don't have a lot of control over. We've seen some reduction in mortgage interest rates over the last 2 years, which is a positive, but we're still, hovering above 6% when everybody in their recent memory remembers a 3% mortgage rate, so 6% sounds really high. We also had huge increases in construction costs. All of us consumers had to weather all the general inflation. Construction costs increased way above general inflation, and they haven't come down. Other factors, again, the supply crunch that we talked about, just the increase in prices over the last 5 and 10 years has been dramatic, well above the rate at which our incomes have increased. Residential construction is one of the most interest rate sensitive sectors. So we've got a chart here historically. This is US-wide single family permits. The purple bar there is COVID. So you see that's when everyone thought the world was going to end. So permits dropped like a rock. At the same time, the government shut down, a government-induced recession led the Fed to basically drop rates to zero. And meaning mortgage rates are, at 3% or even below 3% during some of that period. And so everyone kept their jobs for the most part during that time. We had a lot of stimulus money come in, and so there was huge demand for housing. And so you saw single family permits really skyrocket during that time. And then again, with inflation, the Fed increasing the interest rates, we start to see 6%, 7%, 8% mortgage rates, and you see how fast the single family market reacted to that. Now the new home market was buoyed by the builders themselves. If you've been in the new home market, you'll see that the builders are offering 5% mortgage rates, and so they've really been able to kind of keep their market afloat, but basically in the last 12 months, they've really been under pressure, and we're seeing another decline in single-family permits on the new home side. If you know a real estate agent, go give them a hug. They've been in a recession for the last 4 years. Again, because of these high interest rates, we've basically seen a 50% reduction in home buyer demand, and that's been going on for the last 4 years. Multifamily is also interest rate sensitive, and a lot of the new supply that we're seeing come online in 2023 and 24 and 25 got their financing in a low interest rate environment. So they got their financing, were able to then go through the permit process and build out those units. And we're seeing, again, probably the tail end of this big wave of apartment construction is going to be in 2026, and then we're expecting a lull in 27 and 28. One, due to high interest rates, and two, because excess supply did come onto the market. So the market is basically self-correcting. When there's high vacancy, the developer, if they had a plan to build, maybe delaying their project until they see those excess units get absorbed. So again, that wave is basically over. We're expecting a lull, but we also have seen a structural shift towards more renters. So yes, we had a lot of new supply. We also had a lot of new renters come online. So those new renters have absorbed historic levels of apartments. It's just that we built more than even that demand. So again, that will be transitory. That we expect that supply to be absorbed, and then we'll see where we stand after that. This again, historical Mortgage interest rates were just above 6% now. So yes, better than 8% that we saw a couple of years ago, but still well higher than what a lot of current mortgage holders have. I don't know if you call this good news, bad news, but so we've got, over 50% of our mortgage holders across the United States have a rate at 4% or below. The orange line there is mortgage holders with a 6% rate or higher, and you see we're just kind of growing that ratio of mortgage holders. So the good news is those that have a 6% mortgage have the option to move up, move across, a lateral move. They don't mind swapping their 6% mortgage for another 6% mortgage. But for the rest of the homeowners, we have this locked-in effect, meaning I'm not going to switch out my 3% mortgage for a 6% mortgage. Even if I'm buying the same priced home, I'm not going to accept another $1,500 a month just because the interest rate is high. So that's really what's happening. So, back in the Great Recession, we kind of had this a similar effect of a lot of, less mobility across the United States. People not moving is because they didn't have any equity in their homes. Now people have plenty of equity in their homes, but they don't want to move. They can't port their mortgage with them, which would be a great idea that we don't have yet. So that's what's happening right now. Still have this locked-in effect that will basically kind of grow through. We're expecting mortgage rates to decline, but probably much more painfully slow than what people want. I don't know if we'll see 3% mortgage rates again. If we do, it will be with a severe recession. So it's not like it'll be all good news if we can get that 3% mortgage. But, the mortgage has dipped below 6%, 5% may be psychologically an easier rate to handle. And then there's just people that move by necessity. You get a new job, so you move by necessity or divorce or death. And that will just eventually kind of become a higher and higher percentage of the market, and that will help loosen things up. But for now, we're stuck with it. Last year, 2025, the median age of all U.S. homebuyers was 59 years old. In 2010, it was 39 years old. So that is another data point that tells you there's a problem here, where pretty much the only people that are buying homes are the ones that have paid off their previous home. First-time home buyers, we've been on a general decline in terms of the percentage of home buyers that are first-time home buyers. But in recent years, the 20-year average was we'd have about 2 million first-time home buyers per year, and in 2024 it was 1.3 million. So we're nearly cutting that in half. The first-time home buyer market has struggled in the last couple of years. This is the University of Michigan puts out a good time to buy index, and we're at a worse time today than we were in the early 80s. And my parents purchased a home in the early 80s. My dad loves to tell me that he bought his house with a 16% mortgage. Wow. So how is it that today with a 6% mortgage, it's a worse time to buy than someone buying one with a 16% mortgage? And that's because of the prices with the mortgage, and the fact that our incomes haven't kept up with the pace of how much home prices have appreciated. And this is kind of where we're stuck with. This is again a national data point. If I'm a median, if I make the median income as a household in the United States and I want to buy the median priced home in the United States, this chart is saying I have to spend 42% of my income on my mortgage. If you go to a broker and try to get a mortgage and say, I'm just going to spend 42% of my income for this mortgage, they don't give you a mortgage. You don't qualify. So again, we're priced. A lot of home buyers, or previously would have been home buyers, are now priced out of the market. In Pinal County, just in the last 2 years, you see in the top two brackets there, the younger age groups of householders, and how dramatically it's dropped for those that were in their early 20s or in their mid 20s to mid 30s. We've seen a significant drop off in terms of the homeowner percentage in those age groups, which again, it tracks with income levels and what we used to be able to purchase. So this list is too long to go through, but a lot of presentations we give, there's someone that just says it's just the interest rates. If we can get these interest rates down, then we'll be back in business, and it really isn't. We would love to get interest rates to come down. We don't have any control over that, though, and we are not expecting any dramatic drop in interest rates. That combined with the fact that our housing prices have increased so dramatically, they've come down slightly in the last couple of years, but still well above what we used to have. We've seen that huge increase in construction costs. We've got folks that have that low mortgage rate, so we've got a depressed demand for homes. We're kind of in a slower economy right now. We were dealing again during COVID and post-COVID with labor shortages, supply chain issues. We now have tariffs that are creating a lot of uncertainty in the market. And the focus now is what do we do with this large segment of the population that used to be a homeowner in our market? Where do they go? And can we build to their income levels? This is again, the red line there was just headline inflation and just what construction costs, just from March 2021 to 2023, a 34% increase in construction costs. You see that it's leveled out, but it has not come down. So for Casa Grande, specifically, this is the resale market that's been, basically since 2010. From 2019 to today, resale prices have increased by $130,000. So 2019, the average resale price in Casa Grande was $205,000. Now it's $335,000. You see there again in 2023 was the peak in prices, and that has come down. But the double whammy of the higher interest rates means we're in a much less affordable market. In the new home side, very similar trend there. In 2019, a new home was $225,000, reached a height of $378,000, and now we're right at about $358,000. So again, new home prices just since 2019 have gone up by $130,000. When we look at incomes in Casa Grande, the median household income right now in Casa Grande is just over $66,000. Plug that into a mortgage calculator, and what they can afford is a $248,000 home. When we looked at all the sales, both new and resale in Casa Grande in 2024, 12% of the resale homes sold for at or less than $248,000. So 88% of the homes were too expensive for the median household income in Casa Grande. This is just to kind of highlight the double whammy of both price increases and mortgage rate increases. So going from that 205 to 335, that's a 63% change in the price, but it was a 103% change in what it would cost to afford that home. So I needed $44,000 in 2019 to buy that home, and now I need almost $90,000 to buy that home in 2025. The new home market is worse. It used to be in 2019, if I made $48,000, I could purchase a new home in Casa Grande, and now we're at $96,000 to afford a new home today. So that's a 98% increase in the required income just in the last 6 years. The Casa Grande apartment market, I think 2008, so that extends beyond this chart, was the last time that any new apartments had been built in Casa Grande. So we had a 15-year gap in no apartment construction throughout the city. And then you see those orange bars there was the multifamily permits that came online in 23, 24, and 25 in response to really low vacancy. You were at near 0% vacancy in apartments in 2020 and 2021. Similar to the ownership market, when there's no supply and you still have demand, you still have population coming in looking for a place to rent, there aren't any places to rent, and the properties start to increase their rents. So in 2019, the average rent was just under $1,100, and that went up to just over $1,400 by 2022. And then in response to all this new supply, you're seeing actually rents are coming down. So not kind of similar to the single-family market, but that new supply has created competition among for tenants. You're seeing a lot of concession activity right now. 2 months of free rent, 3 months of free rent, really, which is good for our residents and our tenants to work through. And it's kind of this self-correcting market. We're seeing, over 25% vacancy in the apartment market right now in Casa Grande. That's transitory. It will work its way through. You may not see, you may have a pipeline of planned apartments, and they may decide to delay their project until they see this start to come down, or they see that trend to come down, and then they'll start to respond to that demand again. But when we look at housing burden, nearly 50% of all renters in Casa Grande spend more than 30% of their income, and that 30% is a kind of a national threshold for affordability. So we have 2,900 renter households in Casa Grande that spend more than 30% of their income. I always point out there are 1,260 households that spend more than 50% of their income on their rent. So that 1 in every 2 paychecks is going toward that rent, and this is the number I kind of point to as far as like, what is our homelessness issue going to look like in the future? Well, these 1,260 residents are, one economic hiccup away from homelessness if they're already spending more than half their income to just for their shelter. On the ownership side, Casa Grande is slightly higher than the county and the statewide average. 23% of homeowners are spending more than 30% of their income on housing costs. So there's 3,400 households today that are also overburdened by their housing costs. So we are doing so many housing studies throughout the state. Really, there's no quick fix to all of this affordability. A lot of the solutions are kind of on the margins, is where can we incrementally make inroads into this affordability. But when we look at it as a whole, we need to just recognize there's just going to be a higher percentage of renters than we are used to having, and it's just this economic issue. If I was making $40,000 10 years ago, I could buy a home here, and now where do I live? Well, if I make $40,000 still, I can rent. There's an affordable place in Casa Grande to live, but it's in a rental unit. It's not in an ownership unit. Interest rates will help this, but we're talking about maybe improving from needing $90,000 to needing $80,000. So we still have this huge gap in the market. Those households making $40,000 to $80,000, where can they comfortably afford to live in our city? And here's our section on myths and facts. We'll just go through these pretty quickly here. High-density multifamily housing being associated with affordable housing. Affordable housing sometimes has a stigma. If it's affordable, that means that's for poor people. That's where the crime happens. That's where our issues are. Again, when you look at the apartment market in Casa Grande, we're talking about folks that need to make $40,000 to $85,000 a year to qualify to rent in an apartment. So these are the same folks that were homeowners 10 years ago that are still in this market, that when they get a job in the $40,000 to $80,000 range, they're just renters. They can't afford to purchase a home here. A lot of people are also renting by choice. This is a growing segment of the renter population. And in Casa Grande, over 30% of all renters make $75,000 or more. So these are folks that could actually probably purchase a home, but have decided they want the amenities, they want the lack of a yard or maintenance or what have you, and they rent by choice. High density multifamily will cause too much traffic, and this is, any city council meeting I've ever gone to with a proposal for any type of development, no matter what the development is, there's always a complaint that it will cause traffic, and it's true. Compared to a vacant property, a developed property will cause more traffic. When we compare it to commercial establishments generate a lot more traffic than residential. And then when you look at it on a per unit basis, apartment apartment renters typically have fewer cars. So when you look at the owner-occupied households in Casa Grande, the average is 2.44 vehicles per household versus a renter is 1.6 vehicles per household. So on a per unit basis, there's actually fewer cars per household in these communities. Those people, I hear this. We don't want those people. I find this comment extremely offensive. And it's again, when we're looking at, I just did this presentation in the town of Gilbert. I probably shouldn't have mentioned the name, but we had a those people comment. And when I looked up the salaries of how much a council member makes, most of them wouldn't be able to afford to live in the proposed apartments that were being offered. These were luxury apartments, but you know, I always encourage anyone who hasn't lived or visited an apartment to do so. I mean, these are high quality developments. I don't have 9-foot ceilings in my home, and all these apartments standard 9-foot ceilings, stone countertops, you know, LPV flooring. They're beautiful. They've got great amenities, a pool and fitness centers and things like that. Anyway, these are high quality developments, and again, when we look at who is renting, again, we're talking about households that are making $40,000 to $85,000 or more. They already live and work in your community. They just need a place to live. And a rental option is the only option in that income range. And also, again, we've got so many renter households already that are burdened by housing costs, and new supply helps to fix that. Multifamily reduces property values. We have not found, and I've been doing this for 18 years, we have not found a single study that proves that a multifamily property neighboring another property reduces property values. It just doesn't exist. Increase in crime. The Arizona Multi-Housing Association did a study several years ago about this perception. Do apartments have higher crime rates than other residential asset classes? And the conclusion is just a lot of times the statistics, because you'll see a lot of calls at one address, but there's 100 to 300 households living at that one address. So actually, on a per unit basis, the rate of police activity in apartment communities is no worse than in a single family subdivision, and in many cases it's actually lower. Now, I know every community has some project that's probably a black eye that comes up and they say, well, there's police there all the time. Again, it's prudent to fact check whether or not that is actually the case. Does this community have high crime rates? Is it related to the fact that it's an apartment, or are there property management issues or something like that? So again, this is where I go back to, like, anecdotally, I'm sure there might be some properties that need some help, that need to see improvement, and that are not giving the general market of apartments a good name by being a bad actor. But that should not be applied to just the general concept of multifamily apartments or higher density residential development. Just to kind of conclude here, just as a recap, this is the apartment market in Casa Grande now. Again, the required income, we're still talking about $46,000 to $86,000 to afford a market rate apartment. The median renter income right now in Casa Grande is $48,500. So that's why we're seeing still the rent overburden. We've got lower income renter households. Single heads of household with children have a median income of $42,000. We have 56% of Casa Grande seniors that are renters that are paying 30% or more of their income on housing. And senior renters and owners account for 31% of all cost burden households. So different segments of the population to consider here. And there's also this, the programs, the low-income housing tax credit program. We all know that federal dollars are limited. If you can get those projects, I say, take as many as you can, because the state approves like 10 a year. So there's limited funding there. You can't get them even if you want them, because of how competitive it is across the state. And again, these are high quality developments, brand new. They look like market rate apartments. And they address this segment of the population that's making less than $46,000 to address affordability. So, couple of the last slides, just on different kind of asset classes to consider, to be open-minded to. We need more housing. Again, you saw that the 25% vacancy rate in multifamily. That means you have excess apartment units right now. It's not a problem for you. It's actually great. You have available units for these new employers that are going to start hiring, and it's transitory. So just to kind of watch that. I don't think you have to be worried about the vacancy rate, because it's just a self-correcting market. The developers will self-correct when they see low vacancy. You'll see the more building come online. High vacancy, you'll probably start to see a delay, but in general, we still need more housing that's affordable to our residents. So on the ownership side, we're really, proposing, being open-minded to the small. We need smaller lots, smaller footprint type developments, the duplexes, just being able to increase some density, get smaller floor plans in there to build to that income range that we used to be able to just have houses for. We need to be building smaller, and being cognizant of the construction cost increases that the builders are facing. If we can allow density and smaller units, that can provide an affordable ownership side. The accessory dwelling unit is a great trend that we hope to see continue on those lots that are suitable to add a casita or a guest house to. That can be a great for another, again, a small household or rental unit. Manufactured housing, still one of the most affordable ownership options out there in the market, and combined with appropriate design standards for those parks and those communities, they look great. And there's a lot of great examples in Casa Grande of some great manufactured home communities. And then on the apartment side, the apartments are really filling that gap that nobody has nobody has figured out on the ownership side, is where do people that make $40,000 to $80,000 live that's affordable to them. And the rental market is where private development has filled that gap. Also, we have an aging population here in Casa Grande and Pinal County generally. Really need to be looking forward to being able to age in place and have an affordable and suitable place for seniors as they maybe age out of their ownership unit and want to still remain in the community. So assisted living facilities, independent living facilities is a great option. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Danny. Wow, that was great. Any questions, comments? Sure, Bob.
I have a question. Can we get a copy of this report?
They're back.
Did we already get one? Okay.
Right.
It may well have been. I didn't see it, but very good information, very thorough and eye-opening. Thank you.
Questions, Matt?
I just had a chance to moderate a panel discussion on this very thing last week, and we had a lot of these same things come up. And one thing that was neat, we had a community manager there from Mark Taylor, and they said how stringent their background checks were for people. You brought up the crime part, and that's something that I hear a lot, right? And so she said that the background checks are extensive, and because they don't want bad people living in their communities. So it's an interesting thing that you brought that up as well. And I drove to I had to drive to Chandler the other day. And if you think we have a lot of multifamily under construction, I mean, they have a ton of it. So, yeah. But you did say 2026 is the tail end, right?
Slow it down a little.
as far as Greater Phoenix, yeah, I mean, we're really not seeing, I mean, the pipeline is gigantic. I mean, if you look at the recent pipeline report, there's still 100,000 multifamily units in the pipeline, but
Right.
if it's not under construction, we don't believe you, you know? So, yeah, it's market by market, but that's what we're seeing. The tail end here is 2026, and again, these managers are hoping for it to stop so that they can kind of recover and absorb these excess units.
No, and I appreciate just the myths. I mean, you must have been reading all of our, Larry, did you feed him those? Because well, I'm sure you're getting it everywhere, because that's what we hear all the time. You know, who's living in these, you know, who's living in them. It just amazes me. I'm with you. I'm very insulted. I mean, I lived in an apartment. My husband and I, when we first got married, my daughter's a professional now and lives in an apartment. And so, you know, it's just, there's different reasons that people are living there. But it makes me sad for people to think, who lives in those?
Yeah.
You know, we all lived in an apartment, or maybe all of us, but.
I was just up at Prescott, and we did a live poll of 120 people in this room, and the question was, if you had to buy your home today, could you afford it?
Yeah, no.
And 80% said no. 80% of the people said, I couldn't buy my home today.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the lucky versus the unlucky at this point.
Right. And you're right. I've toured some of these new apartments, and one is a LIHTC apartment complex, and it's beautiful. Like you said, I mean, there's nice, you know, flooring, and the countertops are, you know, granite, and all the stainless steel appliances and washers and dryers in there. So they're very, very nice.
Yeah.
So, but no, I appreciate you. Those are questions we get all the time. So I appreciate you hitting on all of that. We'll just have to have that like on a little card and flip it out when we get them. So, any other questions, comments? No? Danny, no, thank you. Thank you so much. This is really helpful. And yes, if you can make sure we have a copy of the presentation.
Absolutely, Mayor and Danny, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And just so the mayor and council is aware, essentially, we'll be bringing back the housing study that Mr. Merritt reported on for your consideration at an upcoming meeting. I think it may even be the next council meeting.
And Larry, do we have, when we post something like this online, I just think it's really good information for people to refer to that have questions. Is there somewhere on our website where we can possibly have, you know, for people to have access?
We need to make sure it's ADA compliant.
Yes, that's true.
But certainly, we will get this type of information on
Yeah, I think
the
it'll be
website.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you again, appreciate it. Okay, so we don't have to vote on that, right? So I think we're done. So we'll go ahead and close with reports. So anyone want to start?
No reports.
Becca does, I see you ready.
No reports.
Yeah, go ahead.
I always have a little something, but got to go to Terminus Days with Brent and Lisa and Representative Lopez. Had a nice question and answer. We told the stories we could about growing up in Casa Grande and left out some good parts probably. But it was a lot of fun, and the event's growing every year, so it was neat to see everyone down there. And then the Arizona 250 Bell, the Liberty Bell came from Secretary of State Fontez's department, who was in charge of that, and I wanted to give Scott Barber a round of applause for doing a good job emceeing.
Yes.
Had some good humor in there as well. I liked it. It was good. And Lisa rang the bell, and luckily she was wearing pants today because she had to sit down awkwardly because there was no rope on the bell. But she did.
I know,
She did
I
a great.
did.
That's why we were joking
Almost
about it
get under
earlier
there.
because I was like, "What's she
Wow,
have to do?"
too.
And he's like, "You got to lean down." I'm like, "Poor Lisa." So anyway, you did a great job ringing the bell,
you.
Lisa, and speaking
Yes.
too. So it was a really neat thing and a lot of good turnout. And there was like a 20, 30-minute line to get in that museum
Yeah,
today.
that's
It was neat to see a lot of kids and everything, and it's a real full-size Liberty Bell replica that the state has. So that's it.
All right, Brett.
Well, Matt took two of them.
There you go.
Terminus Days, it was good. It was good to see that was more than last time. Get a couple others to go in there and answer some questions, so you can talk about your high school days too. Did take my mother to the road to 250 today, saw Liberty Bell, but unfortunately we were late, so we missed the talks. And then last week or the week before, I got to fill in for the mayor at
Thank you.
Congressman Siscomani's press conference where he was talking about some Pinal County funding they got from the federal government for Pinal County. Quite a few items, but two really important ones for the city. That was almost $2 million for the Casa Grande Union High School District's affordable workforce housing, which is good, and almost $1 million for the Casa Grande Elementary School District's community center revitalization. So he did a pretty good job getting some federal money in for us locally. So that was good to hear and be a part of. That's it.
Good. And thank you for attending. Bob?
No report, thank
Okay.
you.
Sean?
I'm sure you're going to cover State of the City, so I'll just, State of the City's this Wednesday. Cactus Fly-In also is this
That's right.
weekend, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Casa Grande Municipal Airport. So hopefully get a good turnout for that.
Yeah.
That's my only report for
All
today.
right. Well, good. No, thank you. Yeah, the America 250, great event today. Thank you to all of everyone, the community service department, everyone, that participated. Scott, obviously, our police department, parks, library. It was just a really, really nice event, and it was so nice that they were able to stop here in Casa Grande. It was a really nice museum and a great turnout. Let's see, I attended the what is it called? The Casa Grande the Public Schools Band Gala. And that's right, you're with me too. Rebecca Romo was there, and so no, it was really great. There was approximately 700 students in this band from all the elementary schools and middle school and high schools, and so it was just huge. There were so many parents there. It was just a great community event, and just so happy to have all of those young musicians and all the support that they had with their families. So this week is Dr. Seuss's birthday. I know it's a very important day. So I don't know exactly which day. I just know this week. It's today? Oh, today is his birthday. Today is his birthday. And I actually went to Legacy School and read a Dr. Seuss book. No, I didn't. A Walk It in Your Pocket is what I read. So, yes, the second graders loved it. But so if you have kids, grandkids, make sure you read them a Dr. Seuss book in memory of Dr. Seuss. So for all of the seniors here, as far as high school seniors, the Cesar Chavez Memorial Scholarship Committee has a scholarship application that's out right now. So if anyone is interested in that, you have to email your application by March 20th or postmark it by the 18th. And it's gleha.chavez.committee@gmail.com. So please send that in if you're interested in that. And I also attended, part of Casa Grande, the Catholic Church is part of the Tucson Diocese, and was able to attend the new bishop ordination, and that's why I wasn't there for your event, but it was really a neat ceremony in the Diocese of Tucson, and so I was even able to get up and get a blessing by the new bishop, so it was really special, and several other elected officials were there too, so big day for the Tucson Diocese. And again, State of the City, 5:15, Casa Grande Union High School. Please bring your friends and family and just get caught up on what's going on in the city. So thank you to all of our staff, our PIO team, everyone that's done all the videos. We have some exciting videos that are going to be in there from these guys. So we look forward to being there. So that's it. With that, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. We'll adjourn. Thank you, everyone.